What's up, everybody? Welcome to PSI Love You XOXO episode 51. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the future class of video games, Blessing Adeoye Jr.
What's up, Greg? So is that what we're sticking with for 2021 future class?
We have to, right? Like, I feel like, you're no longer the new face of video games. You're just the face of video games. You're there. You're on the Mount Rushmore now.
You can't be the new face when you've been here for a year, you know?
Exactly. That's the thing.
Yeah. But like, when am I? But this is gonna be the new question. When am I the present? You know.
When is he the?
Because I'm the future class. Because I was the new face. Now I'm not anymore. Now I'm the future class. When does that end? Is that 2022?
I mean, I think when you get some kind of award or title, that is in the present, not the future, not the new. It's one of those things.
You would have to win like Gamer of the Year.
Like trending.
Yeah, if you could be content creator of the year at Game Awards, you know what I mean? I feel like they knocked it out of the park with Trendy Gamers and kind of took it away because like I was the one and only Trendy Gamer, and that was all they ever had to do, and it was great. It was over.
That seems easy. I could do that.
Let's talk about something that you said wouldn't be easy, but I notice it is, as we record this, January 3rd, 2021, and you still have the beard. Did the beard grow on you? Do you like the beard? Put the mic out of the way and let me see it. Get up close. Get up close.
There you go.
See? Yeah. This looks good. Are you in? Are you all in on it now? Or are you just lazy?
It's still growing on me. I've not decided yet. Yeah, it's still literally growing on me. I've not decided yet what I'm gonna do with it. Because I've yet to like get it trimmed or cleaned up. Where it's at right now, I'm not the biggest fan of it. Like I like how it matures me a little bit. But and you won't notice this until I point it out. It grows a lot thicker on the left side and not on the right side, which I'm not a fan of. Which I know I can fix by just trimming it up.
Is this question? Greg Miller, kindoffunny.com
Greg Miller
/beards. Is this the longest you've ever let it grow?
Yes.
See, one of the things would be then if you shave it, and then let it grow back in, it should come in thicker and more evenly, probably.
Really?
Yeah, because when I used to do the patchy stuff all the time and never let it really go, and then when I started letting it go, not to where I got the beard, but just a little bit longer, and then I would shave it, I would notice it would come in thicker the longer I'd let it go. And then you remember I shaved it for Extra Life. I feel like it felt like 2 weeks, maybe 3. I had it back to full blown beard.
I want.
So should I just shave it all off?
I mean, if you were gonna, if you're gonna shave one, I would say shave it. You can't just leave the left side up. That'd be weird.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, should I shave it off all the way? Is what I mean. Like, should I take
it back down to the skin?
I think you should go a little goatee patch, and then Greg needs to go back to the handlebars.
That's an idea. I don't know if it's
definitely
I follow the logic on it. Yeah. And that's Barrett Courtney, of course, in the ones and twos. Hey, Barrett.
Yo.
I would say, you go all the way down. You take it all back down, take it back to formula, and then let it grow back up. That was a Spider-Man reference.
Yeah. I mean, now that I'm here, I mean, I don't dislike it. Like, I like how it looks.
Yeah.
I wish it was fuller all around. But if there is a chance that I could shave it and grow back fuller, I do want to try that because I think it's a new year, new me.
I feel
like
I'm making that up. I feel like that's true. Well,
I've not heard. I mean, I'm also not grown a beard, and so I don't really know.
I think that's like scientifically unproven, Greg.
Really?
Yeah, it's like the misconception. Like the more you shave it, like the fuller it grows in and shit. Like I don't think that's true.
I feel like mine always grew crappy, and then when I let it go a bit and shave it down, and then it would come back. Like I feel like.
See, for me, that's never
because you're like training your.
I don't have a reasoning for it. I don't have the logic behind it. Yeah, that's a good question. We'll have to get to the bottom of that one eventually. Of course, this is our first show back in 2021. Hello, welcome back, Blessing. I hope break treated you well.
It did. I had a good time. I played a lot of games, and by a lot of games, I mean I played a lot of one game, which we'll talk about on this show.
Sure.
I released my trophies.
I know. I'm on a Merc City 64 right now on PSN profiles, and I'm looking at it, and it's one of those. I can see why you hit it. It's pretty pitiful. Watch Dogs Legion 4%, Assassin's Creed Valhalla 2%.
Because I started
Forces 2%. Borderlands 3 0%.
This is why I hid my
Crash
trophies.
Bandicoot 2%. Crash Bandicoot Cortex Strike Backs and Warped 0%.
Sometimes I start games without the intention of finishing them. Sometimes I start games just because I want to check them out. No,
I hear you. I mean, we all do that. Yeah, so it's upsetting, right?
I hate it so much.
Yeah, like Crash Bandicoot, you got Fs.
And I didn't even play I started Crash Bandicoot 1 just because I was bored on break, and those other two trophy lists just populate. I've earned 0 trophies and they just show up.
Bug snacks, 25%. That's a great platinum. You didn't even really try on that. I feel like
I did not try on that. No.
Seems like that would have been a thing. Pathless, you wouldn't shut up about it on all these shows. 34%.
Yeah.
Where's that?
Ugh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm
It's
hiding
under
my
Devil
trophies
May Cry
again. I'm hiding them right now.
Yeah,
I'm hiding right now.
He hasn't even platinumed Miles Morales because he hates it so much.
I know he's the one person who hated on the internet.
I like that game a lot.
Oh man, I watched
just don't wanna
IGN
replay
review
it all the
crew.
way again.
IGN review crew said you did not like it. I saw that episode. It did not shake out well.
I like
Hey,
it a
welcome
lot.
to PS I Love You XOXO episode 51, the one and only Nick Scarpino. Hello, Nick.
Hey guys, how's it going?
It's great. Hey, we called you in because we needed. I need to know something.
Sure.
I had a theory about beards,
Okay.
but I've been told I'm wrong. So right now, what the situation we have is that Blessing has kept his beard. He's kept his extra life beard. He's leaning into the camera right now. He's showing it off to you, right?
Love
The
it.
thing we have is that it comes in thicker on the left side than the right side. I said that in my personal experience and what I thought I had heard was that now that he's let it go for like a month and a half, if he shaved it all off, it would come in thicker and fuller. Am I incorrect?
I don't believe that's the case.
Fuck.
I think it's just going to be the way it's going to be, how it grows in from the get-go. The idea, I think that's an old wives' tale of like, if you shave something off, it comes in thicker.
Yeah.
If that wasn't the case, I would have been shaving my head a long time ago.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Huh. Fuck.
Okay.
Sadly.
Well, in that case, I'll probably just I might let it grow out some more and trim it up and clean it up and see how it looks then and make the judgment there.
Yeah.
Because I don't hate it. Once again, like I want to be this person. I like where this is
Nick,
going.
you're joining us late. I'm sorry to bring it up to speed. He likes it. He doesn't hate it like he hates Miles Morales.
I understand.
Don't hate Miles Morales.
I will
get
say,
it, man. What the
as
internet
a-
says
as-
about you.
As a tip, Blessing, for beard growth, let it go as long as humanly possible and see what's what, and then you can kind of sculpt it along the way.
Don't do
As you
that. Don't do that. My dad did that over quarantine. He's let it grow for like
so
feet,
cool.
and it's not.
No,
He
the
looks like a
really
caveman.
long beards are bad, man.
Yeah.
That's
Feet might be a little bit
that's-
too long. But what I'm saying is you could probably get maybe 2 to 3 times the growth you have right now and then decide. Then you have options at that point. Because the problem is a lot of people quit out on the beard when it's in its infant stages and they think, I can't do this. That was Greg's problem for a very long time. You'd always grow it out and then you never let it grow past that point. Like it went from looking like 5 o'clock stubble, or 5 o'clock, shadow, to then a beard, and then you're like, oh, I get it now. I understand.
Sure.
push
Well, you have
past
to
that
power
first
through
couple
that
months.
awkward part. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I feel like I've been in this awkward
I was
part
going to say,
also for a long time.
this was November, right? This was the
this is
beginning
like
of
midway
November.
November. So this has
Let me
been
see
a
it
month and
again.
a half.
Let me see where we're at here.
He's got something cooking for sure.
It's getting there. It's getting there.
And
And
like
it's just like-
when
it's
it
just
comes
uneven is the
to
thing.
when it comes to it filling in, I think that's just gonna I think that is more of like what naturally comes with age in some cases of like varying of like how old you are and like when it actually like can fully grow in. Because like my dad wasn't able to like really get in like a full good looking beard until like his like late 20s, which is what I'm hoping like I'll eventually get because I can't get in like the full growth there.
The thing also with me too is that I'm Nigerian, and a thing that Nigerians aren't necessarily known for is amazing facial hair. I know there are Nigerians listening to this that are like, "How dare you?" But you all know
furious right now.
They're furious, and then they know for a fact that I am telling the truth. And so I feel like I might just not be destined for a great
That's
beard.
possible. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I mean, the fact is, you still have an amazing hairline, so that's really all that
Thank you.
matters. And it's
Yeah,
almost
well,
It's almost insulting, truth be told, to people of my bald stature that you're growing a beard, because you have the best of both worlds, and it's just like, how dare you, sir?
You know what he doesn't have though, Nick?
What's that?
The platinum in Miles Morales, which he hates.
God damn it.
I don't
I don't
understand.
want
this.
the platinum.
Godfall 1%, 13 1%, Demon Soul 0%.
I
Like
played
he's just
13 once.
he
Final
downloads these
Fantasy
things, he
VII,
gets
a
to the
game he
start screen, and
claims
he's
to
like,
love.
I've seen enough. I better go play
7%.
Abby Russell in chess. That's what I got to do.
Oh my god, if chess had a platinum, just know I'd have that thing by now. I've been
I'll have
playing
you know that a
chess.
lot of people have been calling Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales the chess of 2021. So maybe you
I don't
should
know
go
if
with
that's.
that, you know?
I've not heard that once.
Well, you just did. There you go. It's put on the back of the box.
I don't think there's a
Insomniac.
comparison.
If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this
Chess
is
is a
PS I
classic.
Love You XOXO. Each and every week, Blessing and I come together to nerd out about all things PlayStation. You like that because you like PlayStation, so you hang out with us. Remember, of course, you go to patreon.com/kindafunnygames. You can watch us record every episode there live. Not this one because of the Kinda Funny Day stuff we'll talk about in a second. And of course, you can be on the show. You can give us your questions. You can give us your PSN profiles to like Merc City 64. I'll tell you, the bar is pretty low there, so you can do better than that.
Okay, first of all, we're both silver. We're both in the silver tier of trophies, and so
we're not doing that. We're
both in the silver tier.
I'm really close to getting, I think, to the same tier as both of you. I'm really close to getting to
Barrett's calling my trophies on my level.
There's the 300 tier of silver. There's the 400 tier. Then there's the 500 tier of silver.
But there's also like platinum. There's also platinum, gold, silver, and bronze, and I think we're both silver, which pretty much puts us at the same level.
But it's different levels of it. No, that's not the same. That's not how it works.
I don't know what's happening, and I'm going to leave soon, but I'm pretty sure Blessing's right. Okay, bye.
I hate you.
Thanks, Nick.
God, I hate him so much. Remember, of course, you can do all that, be on the show, get the show ad-free, get it with the exclusive post-show, watch it live, like I said, all on patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, just for a couple of bucks. But if you have no bucks to toss our way, it's no big deal. Save your smackers, and you can get the show on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. Podcast services around the globe each and every week. Of course, you get ads there, no post show. You couldn't write in. It's a bad deal. YouTube's ripping you off. Don't do that. Come to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, which also uses YouTube, but we won't talk about that for right now. Let's do some housekeeping for you. As I said, we are not recording this one live. You are not able to watch it live because this goes live on Tuesday. And on Monday, ladies and gentlemen, we have Kinda Funny Day 2021. That's right. Somehow it is our 6th anniversary of founding Kinda Funny. We did a big old stream. You can go watch it, I'm sure, all over the place on YouTube. Barrett's putting out a bunch of breakouts of all the videos on twitter.com/kindafunnyvids, all that jazz. One of the things that are happening there are crazy. We, of course, are in 2021, are doing it live. We are taking Twitch way more seriously. Every day after Kinda Funny Games Daily, we will be live with our new hire, Snowbike Mike, hosting Kinda Funny Games live, playing video games with you, every one of the hosts and guests coming through each and every week to talk to you, play games, hang out, have a bunch of crazy stuff go on. On top of that, we picked up Paris Lily for the Kinda Funny Xcast. We're excited about that. On top of that, we're doing the Kinda Funny Spotlight to get different voices in here to talk to you about video games. There's a whole bunch of cool stuff going on. You can check it all out on patreon.com/kindafunnygames. And of course, wait, because that's going to be the sponsor for this week too. So if you want the ad version, it would be in there. But basically, we're doing a bunch of cool stuff in 2021. We hope you want to be a part of it. Patreon.com/kindafunnygames for all the news and information there. You could be like our Patreon producers right now on patreon.com/kindafunnygames. And they, of course, are Julian, the gluten-free gamer, Sancho West Gaming, and James Hastings. And one more piece of housekeeping. This episode of PS I Love You XOXO is brought to you by Freshly, but I'll tell you about that later. But for now, let's start with the first ever topic of the show for 2021. Tots. 2021. I like how I saw your mouth moving, but your gate was so low. There was nothing happening until 21.
God damn it.
Blessing, what did you play over break exclusively other than chess?
I played so much Bloodborne. I've played...
What happened?
I've talked about Bloodborne for the last year. It was one of the earlier episodes of PS Love You, like one of the first episodes of this version of PS Love You. I think I mentioned that I wanted to go and play Bloodborne because when we talk about PlayStation games of the PS4 generation, that's one of the games that keeps coming up. And like during the announcement of Bloodborne, I remember seeing it being like, okay, that looks like a game I want to play. It's aesthetically, it seems cool. I really like the gothic horror. I really like the Victorian London style it has. All that stuff appealed to me. And so I started playing Bloodborne at the beginning of 2020. Fell off because so many other things happened. A bunch of games came out. And this break, I finally found the time to sit down and play Bloodborne. And I've played at this point, I want to say like over 70 hours of Bloodborne. I've played so much Bloodborne. I beat Bloodborne. I'm at the final boss of the DLC now. And yeah, I loved it.
So Bloodborne, obviously the topic of the show here. But what we titled the show was How to Start Bloodborne. This comes from several places. Number one, obviously, you, Blessing Adeoye Jr., the future class of video games. Last year, starting this, it was one of your blind spots. You jumped into it, right? But then on December 26, 2020, you tweeted, I beat Bloodborne, which then led to a Twitter exchange that goes like this. Andy chimed in and said, a huge day for you, a bigger day for Kinda Funny vids. No longer can YouTube commenters say, quote, they need to play Soulsborne games. We won. Then Timur Hussein from GameSpot says, spoiler cast, when? Then you say, honestly, this sounds like a great standalone PS I Love You XOXO episode. Timur says, do it. And then you say, what if we got Greg to play it? And even invited on GameSpot's Timur Hussein. To which I said, I want to platinum Cyberpunk and Avengers, just the damn Hives trophy left. Once that's done, I'm in. Of course, Cyberpunk and Avengers were my holiday break to-do list games or whatever, and I'll talk about that a little bit later, probably in what you've been playing. But it's 2021. And similar blessing to how we started last year with, what we haven't played? Peace Walker. You hadn't played it, period. I hadn't played it in a long time, and we jumped in and played the hell out of that. Let's do it. I'm playing Bloodborne. I'm in. We're doing it. We're doing it. This is a thing. We're doing it. We're building to a PS I Love You XOXO spoiler cast review with Tamor. I saw Brian Altano trying to get in on that. We'll see who we can get when we get there. This is a little known game, Bloodborne. Not a lot of people have played it. So the pool of people who can come on and talk about it are limited. I'm
fascinated to see what you think of it because what are you going to say?
No, please go.
Yeah. So like coming out of Bloodborne, I think it is easily one of the best games of this last generation. And like as a PlayStation first party game, it is top 3, probably top 2, maybe top 1. I gotta like replay, like playing Bloodborne and having the gears go in my mind of like, man, I am liking this game more and more and more as I play it and as I get through it. And as I have Imran, who is sitting shotgun for most of the time, explain the story to me and explain like the bits of lore and explain what's going on. The more and more I experience this game, the more and more I was like, shoot, man, this might be like sneaking up my list of favorite PS4 games. And it honestly, playing it made me want to replay God of War because it's gotten to that point now where I'm like, I gotta reassess things. I love Bloodborne so much. And I don't even know like where to start with it. Like for you, going into Bloodborne, do you have any questions for me about why I like the game?
I want to know, like, I think the question of how to start Bloodborne is an interesting one. And I want to start with you about it because you picked it up on your own in 2020 and played, fell off because other things came around. And then when you double back to it over break, you did something I thought was really interesting. And that was you came back playing it with Imran and Copilot. And that, of course, reminded me a lot of how Andy streamed Bloodborne, where, of course, Andy streams on Twitch. I wish I could remember his username, but I can't. And it was he, went out there and he talks to his chat and he has his chat involved. Yeah, I know that's his name, but I can't remember his Twitch.tv name. Twitch.tv/Andy Cortez. That just doesn't sound right.
No, that's what it is.
Really? Yeah. Huh. I thought there'd be a nitro rifle in there, a Cheeto.
Yeah, like a Maximum or something.
Yeah, Maximum Cortez, right? And he's got a branding issue, but Twitch.tv/Andy Cortez. All right. No, he did that. And then even that day when the PlayStation 5 embargo lifted and I started Demon Souls, right? And was playing that with chat, I found that to be a not more fun experience, but an interesting experience where I think playing Cyberpunk, right? And not grinding Cyberpunk, but playing Cyberpunk and doing the stories, right? I would never want to stream that because part of those games is getting lost in what's happening and making my decisions and being so engaged with the actual storytelling and what this character wants me to do and why I'm running this thing over that. You know what I mean? All these things you're doing for Rogue or whatever. Like, I wouldn't want to be overlooking at the chat and talking about The Office or bullshitting around about what's happening in the inside jokes there. But for Demon Souls, I found it interesting when I was playing it because it was have a conversation with the chat. They were telling me, don't go that way. Don't go left. Like that thing is meant to kill you or that's going to happen. And even though I'm not trying to take away from Demon Souls or Bloodborne, there is a narrative there and there is storytelling and world building. It's not cinematic in the way that I can, if I'm reading something, I can get out of it. My question for you would be, for me going into it, did you enjoy it more with the stream or did you enjoy it more on your own? Do you think part of the reason you fell off is because you went into it playing it? And I might be, I don't remember you streaming your first playthrough, your first start.
No, I wasn't. Yeah, no.
Did that seem more like an isolating experience?
So it's a combination of things. The short answer is yes. Streaming Bloodborne and playing it with other people improved my improved how I took it like vastly. Like I really enjoyed it playing it that way more. And I think it's a combination of one, Bloodborne to me is very much a horror game. Nobody talks about it in this sense. But it is probably the scariest game I've played. Like it is scarier than any Resident Evil I've played. It's scarier than the times I played BioShock or Outlast. Like both from hey, everything in this game is scary perspective and also from a mechanical perspective of you're playing a difficult game where you are dying and then losing your blood echoes and you have to retrieve them back. But just from a pure horror aspect, streaming that helped me because I have people that are able to distract me. I have Imran that I can talk to who is distracting me, and I would also have that commitment of, well, I'm streaming, and so I kind of have to put in 2 hours into this. Whereas when I was playing it by myself, I would put in 30 minutes to an hour and be like, okay, I'm stressed out. I'm going to take a break. And I come back the next day and put in another 30 minutes to an hour and be like, okay, cool. I'm stressed out now. Streaming it helped me commit that time in a way that I wouldn't have otherwise. Yeah. And so that helped. But then also from, you talking about the story and how the narrative is different from if you're playing, like, say, like if you're playing God of War or Cyberpunk, or if you're reading a book, right? Where this is actually one of the things I'm fascinated about with your playthrough, to see if you take to it, because Bloodborne has a story that I think is fascinating and engaging, but it is very cryptic, and the way in which you get the story is by kind of earning it and uncovering things and piecing things together. Like, it is almost a puzzle game in the way the story comes together, where you have to talk to different people, read item descriptions, and then put the pieces together to kind of understand what's going on. And in the way that I played through Bloodborne, I didn't really care too much about the story until it was being explained to me, because they don't really hand it to you in any sort of way. And so I'm going through this world that is like this dark, creepy, weird, horrifying world, understanding pretty much nothing of it, in the way that the character that I'm playing as, going into it, probably doesn't really understand much of it. But as I'm playing through it, I'm experiencing these things, and having these interaction with bosses, and I know, like, whatever's going on with this certain character, this certain boss, is cool and has a story behind it. But as a player, I'm not too sure what that is until afterward, where I talk to friends, or I read items, or I go on YouTube and watch. There's like a YouTube channel called Vati Vidya, who does like Bloodborne or Souls specific content that I've gone to watch, and a billion people recommended that. And that's when I actually get the story, and I'm like, okay, cool, this is awesome. And then I go back into the Bloodborne world with that context a second time, and then that kind of improves how I view that, which is like a weird way to go into a game and play it. But
well, sure, like that. One of the things I put up on patreon.com/kindoffunnygames was the call for questions for this episode. Usually we do it through participation links, but because of everything happening with Kind of Funny Day, the cart got in front of the horse on this one. And I called out, like, give us your questions in general for the show and what you want to talk about, but extra credit points for why someone should play Bloodborne, and then also how you should play, what advice you'd give them. On the why you should play, I liked, we got 3 responses here, right? Robert Mims wrote in and said, Bloodborne is the best game where you shove your hand up a giant pig's ass. Also, some of the best lore environments, atmosphere, and combat of all time. Thom said, 2021 is the perfect time to start Bloodborne because it is completely about believing in yourself. You'll teach yourself something that you will get tangibly better very quickly and build confidence with. But then Soul Porpoise wrote in with this. Bloodborne has some of the most incredible design I've experienced in a video game. It's been pointed out ad nauseum over the years, but its gameplay is faster than other Souls games. Before playing it, I assumed that talking point was just in terms of attack animations or movement speed. But in reality, it's all about the whole flow of combat. The dance-like encounters feel so much more energized and fluid rather than grueling and heavy. Look up the Lady Maria fight from the DLC. It's dope. There are consistently moments of discovery as you explore the expansive labyrinth world and slowly build your understanding of the lore. This isn't unique to Bloodborne over other Souls games or many other games, I suppose, but for me, the art direction, atmosphere, and characters of the world made it all feel far more rewarding and emotionally impactful. Every character, item, enemy, and location has purpose and feels intentional. The environmental storytelling is masterful, it's dense, and it's very dark. Did I mention this game is real messed up and also wet? Why is everything so impossibly
God, everything
wet?
is so wet in the game, and it's so off. It's so upsetting. Like, it's so unsettling. I don't like how wet everything is.
Yeah, that would get me. That sounds like it would get you too. And so what I found interesting for the tips, right, was how many people wrote in saying to use a walkthrough, saying to have a guide open. And I feel like even though you didn't play that way necessarily, having Imran, having the chat, having resources, it seems like a game that you want that for. That's going to make it a better experience.
And I imagine too that playing Bloodborne at launch must have been such an experience for people, because you have a bunch of folks online talking about the game, and you can have back and forth, and you're discovering that mystery together. For me, playing it 6 years after the game came out, it's been a fun thing of having people already there, whether in chat or Imran talking to me, or even other friends, right? Andy, I have a friend Maria that plays. Talking to me and describing to me, like, okay, yeah, once you go here, you're gonna take a right, and you're gonna go up these stairs, and these guys are gonna be here, and you're gonna fight them. And the reason why they're here is because of X, Y, and Z. Okay, cool. You're gonna get this item. Okay, read the description real quick, because that's gonna clue you into some lore. It feels it's an interesting way to play, because traditionally I'm not really a guide person. I don't really like games that feel like they encourage you to use a guide, because I feel like that kind of takes away from me just experiencing the game straight up.
Sure.
And like Bloodborne kind of gets away with it for me, because it doesn't necessarily feel like a, hey, read the guide so you can play the optimal way. It feels more so like a, hey, play with people, like have this community experience. Like in Bloodborne, the game, there are notes that people leave behind that are beware of this corner, or hey, there is an enemy that's going to ambush you like 2 steps ahead, or hey, like just be aware that the thing you're about to encounter, you're gonna have to fight it and like power through. And that feels like it is very much an encouragement of, hey, yeah, you are going to this is a tough, grueling game. And like, and I say that I also want to like put out the idea that people overblow how difficult the game is. The game isn't impossibly difficult. It's punishing, but like it's also forgiving in terms of like shortcuts and checkpoints and lamps and stuff. That was one of the things that was making me nervous going in, is like, man, okay, I don't want to play this impossibly difficult game. It was not impossibly difficult. But yeah, like the way in which people kind of have that conversation around the game improves the experience so much and makes it almost like this multiplayer game, even though you see it as a single player thing.
For tips, we had a whole bunch right in, and I want to make it very clear before we can get into the tips, ladies and gentlemen, the reason we're talking about this and how to start Bloodborne, and obviously, is for me to do this and us to get here to do a spoiler cast with, and it's what, like, I've heard like between like 35, 40 hours for a playthrough.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. So hopefully at the end of the month, we do it, or an upcoming one. We'll give you a heads up. Obviously, we'll be checking in on PSILOVE as we go, as we build towards a spoiler cast review here. But the idea is like, why not make it a book club? Why not do a video game book club here for Kind of Funny for this specific thing? So if you've never played Bloodborne, this is your primer guide as well, as we pick up our pens and notepads and get ready to go to school on this one. I encourage everyone to come play it with us if you haven't already, and do a replay if you have before.
Barrett, you can play Bloodborne, Barrett? Do it.
Come on, Barrett. Jump in, Barrett. Jump in, Barrett.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I got 10 hours into Demon Souls, and I was like, all right, I'm done.
Well, here's something that I find interesting, and I want to have I want to bounce all these tips off Blessing now that he's coming out the other side of this. Slacks wrote in patreon.com/kindoffunnygames and says, the first few hours of that game is trying to break you. You will think you suck at it, and in all fairness, you might. I remember my timing being shit and spending so much time trying to beat the one big cape guy in the corner at the beginning, only to find out he gives me absolutely nothing for it. But I did finally beat him, and those villagers seemed a little easier to beat at that point. Something clicks where each little taste of victory makes you want more. You get used to the camera being a cheap bastard sometimes. It isn't easy, and that's what makes it rewarding. There's so much to be said for finding a new area or shortcut, or a new what the fuck is that enemy. I hated the game when I started, but by the end had beaten every boss and gotten the true ending. It can suck you in. You just need to let it. I like this idea of the first few hours are trying to break you. I like the idea of people talking about this in a way of what the game's trying to teach you. Obviously, we had so many people write in. One of the people who wrote in that resonated with me on Patreon was talking about the fact of like, it is with you, Bless. This isn't a hard game. Once you understand the mechanics of what it wants you to do, it's kind of a science of, okay, because of A, I do B kind of thing, and you figure it out from there.
Yeah.
It's just that it's so not what we're used to in current modern video games is why it stands out.
Yeah, that's the thing is and I don't want to say it's not difficult, because it is difficult, but it's not as grueling and hard as you would think it is from like reading online and seeing people play it. It is just a different design language that in the tip that the person gave, right, of like, yeah, the first few hours in this game are trying to break you. I don't even know if I'd say they're trying to break you, but naturally they kind of do. They'll break you, because you're like, okay, I'm so used to playing whatever the other action game may be, right? I'm so used to playing Devil May Cry, for example. I'm so used to playing, like, even throwing God of War or like Jedi Fallen Order, which both have similar-ish sort of combat to them. I'm so used to playing those, like jumping into this and kind of understanding that I don't necessarily need to defeat every enemy in every area every time I go through, right? Like kind of understanding that the way in which you progress in this game is by opening up shortcuts or opening up or finding new lamps, right? Or just finding those points that will allow you to die safely. Like those are the things that kind of let you progress. And once you kind of understand that helps a lot. And like even in combat, right? Like understanding the flow of combat helps a lot. I know for me, I didn't really understand immediately the use of the left hand weapon, which is usually like a projectile, like a gun.
Yeah.
They give you a gun in the game, and the gun isn't really an offensive weapon. It's more of a parry weapon than an offensive weapon. And your brain kind of sees that as somebody who plays video games, and you're like, okay, I have a gun. Okay, I'm supposed to use it defensively, I guess, because it barely does any damage. And once you kind of understand that, it clicks. And for me, it's become my main strategy. Like, I love parrying in this game. I think it is very fun. But it does take a little bit of time to get into and understand, and then use in the way the game wants you to do.
June wrote in with 3 tips. Number 1, the first quarter of the game is probably the hardest, especially if you are new to Soulsborne. After you start to level your character and weapons, things start to feel more manageable. Number 2, make sure you check in on your NPCs often. You can easily miss story beats if you go too long without visiting your old friends at the chapel, the clinic, etc. And then number 3, read every item description. The coolest part from games is how each and every little detail in the items, the architecture, the game mechanics, and the enemies contributes to the world building and the lore. You are trying to uncover what the hell happened in this world, who the major players were, and what became of them. I like to think of it as an archaeological dig more than a hero's journey or detective story. That resonated with me, Bless. The fact, like, how you go in there to wrap your head around, again, not a traditional way of telling you the story. I've saw multiple people write in saying, read everything you can.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like the way I say that, and the way I played was not reading much of anything, because going into it for the first, I'll say 50 to 60% of the game, the thing that I enjoyed about Bloodborne was the combat and the gameplay more so than any of the world building. Like, aesthetically, the game always looked cool to me, and I liked the enemy design, even though the enemy design terrifies me at the same time. But like, I liked that it terrified me and stressed me out. But I didn't really care about any of that stuff because I didn't know how to get that stuff. Like, that stuff wasn't really being handed to me in the way that I was used to. And in the second half of the game, playing with chat and playing with Emron and talking to Andy and talking to different people who were explaining, hey, no, this is what's going on in the world of Yharnam. Hey, do you notice the way that the world changed after you did this specific thing? Like, what do you think that is? Okay, why do you think that this world as you traveled into the Forbidden Woods, right? Like, why do you think the enemies changed in this way and they behave this way? Or like, why do you think these beasts seem to like use weapons in a way that like a human would? Or like certain things that I wouldn't have really thought about playing other games. Those things are used as storytelling devices in Bloodborne in ways that I think is fascinating. And the deeper and deeper I got into it, the more and more I started to appreciate it and get into that. But I also don't think like, and this might be like sacrilege or whatever, but like, I don't think you need to really like want to get into the story to like enjoy Bloodborne. If you like the gameplay and you like the world and you like exploring and all that stuff, I think at the base level you can do all that stuff and still have a great time. But the story is there if what's there already fascinates you. The story is there if you want to keep going in and dig deeper and really like true to or grow to appreciate this thing. Because that's what happened to me. Like, I went and did the digging and went and like watched videos and like listened to Emron, and the more and more I got, the more and more I was like, damn, this thing is really cool. I really like this thing.
Again, you asked at the top, like what questions would I have as I get ready to do this? What am I worried about or thinking about? We got 2 different tips here, one from Nick and one from Ian, and I feel like they're at odds with each other, but you need to tell me if they actually do come together. Nick writes in and says, my tip for Bloodborne is have patience. It's a learning experience. You can't rush it. My first attempt, I tried to rush into things and didn't have a good time. I learned to take it slow and let the game come to me. It completely changed the experience, and I truly enjoyed it. Then Ian writes in and says, of course, Happy New Year, Greg and Bless. One of the best pieces of advice I could give to a new Bloodborne player is be aggressive. The game is designed to be played aggressively. Are patience and aggressiveness at odds with each other, or do they unify in a way?
They unify. This is I love this because like people who listen and that like I like fighting games, and like throughout my playthrough of Tekken, if you watch my Twitch streams, playthrough of Bloodborne, throughout my Twitch streams, I would reference Tekken.
And I feel like you just put up a video within the last 24 hours of us recording this that was like, look at this boss fight from the DLC and tell me it's not a fighting game.
Yeah, exactly. Like the boss fights in this game and fights and combat in general in this game remind me of playing fighting games. Because it is a mixture of when they mention patience, right? That is, hey, you gotta be comfortable with the idea of downloading the enemy, like downloading your opponent. And downloading is a term that they use in fighting games often, where it's, hey, you are understanding how your opponent moves and you're understanding like their strategy and their moveset and getting an idea of how they attack so that you can counter and so that you can attack back. Bloodborne has the exact same kind of method to it when you're playing, where for me, my strategy when I go into a boss fight or when I encounter a new enemy usually is, okay, I'm going to stay a decent mid-range distance and let them attack a bit. And I'm going to try and dodge their attacks and see how they move and attack so that I can understand that, so that I can dance with them and then go back and be aggressive. Because Bloodborne very much encourages aggression. There's a mechanic I really like where if you take damage from an enemy, if you attack back within a certain window, you can get some of your health back. And that is very much the developers being like, hey, like go in, like fight back, be aggressive, because being aggressive is going to work out for you more so than not. Like that, I think that's also encouraged by the speed of the combat. I think that's encouraged by like even how your character moves and how everything feels so aggressive and grueling, and just like it's very much an aggressive game in the way that you got to play it. But yeah, no, patience definitely works also, because you also want to take in what's going on as you're being aggressive at the same time. I know it sounds like it's at odds with each other, but it definitely is unified.
No, I get it. It's in that, but that's what's so fascinating about it, to think about it on that level, that you can have this aggressively patient game, right?
Mhm.
But you saying download makes sense. I do get in there, mix it up with somebody, but find out what they're doing and what their attack strategies are, right? It is that idea of like every video game we've played where there's a boss fight, and when they go to wave 2, it's different. So you have to figure that out and not play it like wave 1, right? And then get to wave 3 and kill them.
Yeah, exactly.
This is one made my head hurt, and I want you to know if it's something I need to worry about too much or if I need to actually study. And that would be the other question too. As somebody who started that Persona 5 notebook, which I'll get back to, Barrett, don't you come at me. Do I need to start a notebook for Bloodborne? Do I need to keep it going? Because Mara writes in and says, starting tip for Bloodborne. Pay attention to the stat scaling each weapon has. The scaling is graded by letters, with higher level grades giving more attack power. For example, a D in strength would give you 1 more attack point for every level you put into strength, whereas an A would give you 3 attack points for every level you put into strength. Once you start to build your character in a certain way, pay attention to your scaling on new weapons to make sure the weapon works with your build. You immediately said, yes, I need to start a notebook. Is this the kind of shit I need to be writing down and jotting down and figuring out my build and what class and all this other stuff?
Mm-hmm. I think that shit you don't necessarily need to write down, but it is worth kind of paying attention to. Like the stat stuff seems really deep in a way that I never fully wrap my head around. And maybe if I've at this point, like I've beaten the game, I've gotten all the endings, and I'm about to beat the DLC, and I've still not like wrapped my mind around like fully around how the stat stuff works, especially with the attributes and the grades and all that stuff. Maybe if I keep playing and go into the chalice dungeons, which are basically like this other mode in the game where you're like doing these procedurally generated dungeons, maybe once I get deeper into that stuff and that stuff starts to get difficult, that's when I'll start like paying attention to that stuff.
When you're actually worrying about an actual build.
Yeah, exactly. But it is worth, I think, either like looking up or having somebody to talk to you to ask like, hey, should I be investing in strength? Should I be investing in endurance? Because a thing I learned was apparently I was putting so much of my points into strength, and the weapon that I was using for most of the game was the saw cleaver. And as I understand it, this is what I've been told. I'm sure people listening will tell me even further. Like the saw cleaver
is freaking out right now.
Yeah,
he's freaking out, throwing things around his room.
But the saw cleaver isn't the best weapon if you're going to invest in strength, as far as I understand. And so like I also got another secondary weapon, which was more of a strength weapon to complement that. But like that's stuff that you can kind of feel out and figure out. Like, you know, in terms of stats and upgrades and stuff, like I would recommend focus on endurance, because endurance helps me out a lot, and then also focus on vitality, because that'll raise your health. Also look into runes and make sure you have my main thing is make sure you have things equipped, because that's very easy to miss. And so like when you go back to the Hunter's Dream, which is the hub area in the game, there are like multiple things you can go to. You can talk to the doll, which is where you upgrade. You can go into the house that's in the hill, and like in there you can like equip shit to your weapon, and then you can also equip runes to your character. And it sounds like I'm saying a lot because I am.
Sure.
but like once you're in it, it all makes sense. Like once you're in it and you realize what you got to do, it's just like, okay, this is like any other video game. I understand what this is. To circle back though, the notebook thing. The reason why I say you should take notes is more so for the narrative and story stuff. I think for you, Greg, if you find yourself wanting to be invested in the world and what's going on, it could be a fun experiment to take notes as you go through, so you can try and connect certain dots together. Because things do change and shift in a way that kind of do require some like puzzle solving and figuring things out in terms of the story.
Okay. Avid Endoorsman wrote in, said, "Don't be discouraged when you die. It's all a learning process. Bloodborne was my first Souls-like fame," and he means game, "and took me a month or so to get the hang of it, but now it's one of my favorite games of all time. The gothic horror, the mysterious storytelling, the twists and turns of never knowing what's around the next corner. It all adds up to a unique gameplay experience that I've yet to find another game or even get close to, or even comes close to it. Give it the old college try, Greg, and remember, if at first you don't succeed, try again." It's going to be interesting because I've started Bloodborne before. I've started Demon Souls before on PS3 and now PS5, right? And it's not, I never turn them off because I don't like them or because I think they're too hard or anything. It's more I end up turning them off because I'm just like, all right, I get it. I feel like you know what I mean? I shut it down because, oh, okay, parry. Oh, okay, work against these giant creatures and figure it all out. I clearly don't get it. I clearly don't, right? Like I feel like the people who get it are the people who are here. We all saw, or I shouldn't say we all saw, if you're paying attention, you saw Brian Altano, I know, force himself to play Bloodborne, I think last year as well, maybe the year before it, but detail that on Beyond and on Twitter of his thing.
That might have been like 4 years ago.
Was it really? Jesus, God.
Yeah,
I remember listening to the
say that was when I was working at IGN.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Right. And it's just, 2020, since that was such a wash, I have no idea anymore. But it's the same thing of like, I feel like the forcing myself to go through it will be a big part of it and try to fill it out that way.
Yeah. And I would also say that dying is very much a part of the experience. Like with the lamps and all that stuff, right? And like the checkpointing, the game can be generous. Like I think in some of the early areas, lamps and shortcuts might be like a little further apart, but like for the last like this whole the last few weeks of me playing, which has been the last half of the game in the DLC, I've noticed that like checkpointing and like opening up shortcuts is way like closer together than I would have thought. Like the distance between a lamp and another lamp, or a lamp and a shortcut back to that lamp, is not as punishing as I think I would have thought originally. And so like it is okay to die, and it is okay to like it's even okay to like lose blood echoes, because all this stuff is retrievable, and especially when you get later into the game, there are places where you can like farm things and level up your character and do all that stuff so you can catch up, even if you do feel like you're under leveled. All that stuff is somewhat generous. And even during the boss fights, right? Like there have been only 2 boss fights so far that I've played that have like fucked me up, where like I remember listening to people talk about the game. One of the things that discouraged me was hearing people be like, dude, I got to this boss and I've been fighting this boss for 3-4 hours straight. And like hearing that made me go, okay, I don't want to do that. That sounds terrible. That for the most part hasn't really been the experience for me, aside from 2 bosses, and they both have been like the final bosses of the game, the final boss of the actual game, and then the final boss of the DLC have stuck me in that way, where I've been fighting the final DLC boss for, I kid you not, Greg, I think approaching 4 hours in total, and I am not making a dent in this guy.
My question for you then, again, that sounds like a turnoff to me. Are you fighting them for 4 hours because they're difficult, or are you fighting them for 4 hours because you're still trying to crack them? Like, could you look at a guide and be like, oh, and then just beat it? Or is it like you're trying to figure out what to do when this happens and so on and so forth?
It is me still trying to beat them, right? Like if I looking at a guide, I could probably like, or if I even watch a YouTube video, I could probably find some strategy or some like equip fire or whatever, like figure out what I need to do technically in order to take them out. But it honestly is me just trying over and over again and actually loving it. Like I was expecting it to be a process of me getting frustrated and wanting to throw my controller, and it being the Akumura Palace in Persona 5 Royal, and me just being like, this shit sucks. But the 4 hours I put into fighting this final boss has been fantastic. Like I've enjoyed the whole thing because I find it to be such a fun process fighting this thing. And I think that's also one of the reasons why I'm fascinated to see you play, is I want to know if you take to it the same way or if that does become a turnoff, because I could see that being the case, and I think that's totally valid. But it's not as bad as it seems, is the point I want to make.
We've mentioned his name several times. So like Beetlejuice, when it talks about Bloodborne, Timur Hussein has appeared, of course, on patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, where you can go. Timur writes a missive here, and a very long letter that we'll read in full, because of course we love Timur from GameSpot, and he is an expert at all things Bloodborne. He begins, a lot of people here have given excellent tips for playing Bloodborne already, and I agree with them. I don't know if I have much more to add that's different, but I will emphasize that you shouldn't force yourself to play Bloodborne. Like many, I think it's an outstanding game and one of the best PlayStation exclusives ever, full stop. There's a very vocal fan base that enthuses about the game constantly and is always telling people to play it. I am one of those people. That can create this pressure to play it, like you're somehow missing out on something if you don't. That isn't the case, and you shouldn't feel pressure to play it by others. I gave Blessing grief about not finishing it on Twitter, but it was mostly as I joke, and I think, parentheses and hope, he knew that. You knew that, right, Bless?
Oh yeah, I knew that.
Ultimately, he played it when he was ready and in the mood for it. And as far as I can tell, he enjoyed it. He came to it in a way that felt right for him, parentheses, on stream with Imran by his side. And at a time, he felt right. Andy picked it up when it suited him, and he enjoyed it too. I say this because Bloodborne, perhaps more so than other From Software games, requires you to invest in so many things to get the most out of it, and I dare say to properly understand the magic of it. Playing the game is a journey, and you'll need to commit to learning to play, and in a world where games like to give you freedom to play how you want, games that create challenges that largely require specific styles of play can be difficult to get comfortable with if you're not in the mood to take what it's teaching, understand it, and apply. Similarly, the world, characters, and story are phenomenal. Sure, you might not be that into Gothic, Lovecraft, horror vibe, and that's okay. But if you are, to really experience it, you need to be willing to sit with it, soak it in, read things, connect dots, and have those light bulb moments. Of course, I'm not saying you have to be an archaeologist. There's just as much value in simply taking what's in front of you and not digging further. It's a beautiful and horrific world and a stunning artistic achievement at any level. But ultimately, you'll need to spend a bit of time finding the pace that works for you. And if you're not in the headspace where you want to be there and are willing to work towards finding that groove, you'll probably bounce off. Again, people have said about playing aggressively, using the visceral attacks a lot, dodging, etc. And yes, that's all important. But just as important is the process of understanding why you need to do that, which involves failing to do it, trying to do better, and then eventually getting there. That's when it clicks into place and you feel that sense of empowerment, like you're unstoppable. And that's a whole new set of challenges. And that's when a whole new set of challenges are put in front of you and the cycle begins again. It's the journey again. And you need to want to take that journey to have a chance at enjoying it. I think you should play the game however you want, whether that's summoning, using guides, having people walk you through it in stream chat, or just be there to talk, or just be there to talk as you play. The PS5 screen share is brilliant and an underrated feature. And recently, friend of the show, Simon Cardy, has been playing the game while sharing with me and Lucy. I've been playing Persona 5 Royal or Bloodborne myself. Lucy's been doing her crafts or playing something else. And we've had this shared experience together where anytime Simon needs a nudge or has a question, we're there. That's been a fantastic experience for me as someone who loves the game. And I think Simon is having a good time too. Finally, don't be scared of the Souls community. The whole get good, no difficulty options discourse out of the community is a negative. Let me try this again. The whole get good, no difficulty options discourse out the community in a negative light. But that's a small part of the fandom that you can easily avoid. The subreddit for Bloodborne is generally helpful. It's full of passionate people that love the game and want to enjoy it too. Similarly, the content creators around Bloodborne are amazing, and there's so much to experience. It's to the point where if you have an interest in the world or characters or story of Bloodborne, you don't want to play it, just watch and read stuff. And this is back to, how do you say this? Vita Vidya?
Oh, yeah. I've said Vati Vidya.
Vati Vidya has lore videos. Hey Zeus Here's Toast has speedruns. Andy's archives are still up from his playthrough. RKG's entire Prepare to Try series is still up on IGN, and a few folks there at IGN have also started up their own new run of the game. You can read Pale Blood Hunt, a fantastic and thorough breakdown of the events of the game and analysis, thank you, of what it all means, or check out the amazing fan art people are making. Bloodborne has something for you, regardless of how you want to approach it and what you want out of it. You just have to want to give it a shot and give it a bit of patience to find something that clicks. And if it doesn't, that's okay. A beautiful write-up from Timur. He should write. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, he should be a writer. No,
I think
sure.
from what I understand, well, he works at GameSpot.com, but I thought he just made thumbnails. But it turns out he's a great writer. He actually knows a lot about video games.
I heard he was a janitor. I didn't realize he even made thumbnails. I mean, I agree with everything Timur said. And another thing I'll also say, and this kind of echoes, I think, a little bit what he's saying too, is that I think for me, Bloodborne has ended up as one of my favorite PS4 first party games, PS4 exclusives, PS4 game. I guess I'll just say that. But I also think it's one of those games that also might not be for everyone, and I think that's okay. Like if you're a person that like, if you're a diehard PlayStation fan, you know, I think it's worth trying Bloodborne out. But I also don't think if you don't love Bloodborne, you know, it's not like, I don't think you're wrong. You know, I don't think like that. I don't think it's a must play. I wouldn't even recommend it as like if somebody came to me and they're like, I'm buying 3 PS4 games. I don't know if Bloodborne would be in there. I think I would go God of War, Spider-Man, Last of Us, maybe Persona 5 Royal, right? Like I would go. Bloodborne does take some effort to get into. It kind of reminds me too of Shadow Colossus in a way, where it is non-traditional. Even though Souls games are a genre now, and there are so many of them, and so in that way, I guess you could say it's a bit traditional. But as far as like mainstream games, AAA games, all this stuff, right? Non-traditional. You're going into it, and it is what it is. And if it vibes with you, you could fall in love with it. And if it doesn't, like, that's totally okay too. And so I just want to throw that out there.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's find out together. This is Bloodborne month on PS I Love You XOXO. Of course, if you have it, download it, start playing it. If you didn't, but you bought a PlayStation 5, remember it's part of the PlayStation Plus collection. You can get it right there. Obviously, it's been on sale a bajillion times. Hopefully, you have it somewhere. You can get in there. Of course, as we go, I will add to the questionnaire for PS I Love You XOXO on patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. Click on the little participation links, a thing about where you at in Bloodborne and what. I shouldn't do that actually because it'll spoil it for me, I guess. At some point, we'll call us. We write in with your non-spoilery stuff of how you're enjoying Bloodborne as we go, I guess would be the easy way to do it, and who you're getting stuck at, and you know how you're enjoying the game as we go. But there'll be a big spoiler cast with Timur, with Bless, and I'm sure a cavalcade of other guests as we get there and figure it all out. But I'm excited to give it the old college try, and like, you know, is sit down and have a reason now to play through it. Like, right, you know, that not to have the luxury of, I get it, I'm out of here, I'm going to go do something else, to actually try to review it with everybody and have a spoiler cast. We'll see how it goes.
Did it ever come to PC? Or was that just like a rumor? Yeah. Okay.
I think that was a rumor / the thing that people want. And I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up on PC at some point. I am expecting a PS5 PC version. I would be shocked if that didn't come at some point.
Ladies and gentlemen, for now, let's have a word from our sponsors. Of course, you don't have to listen to the sponsors if you're on patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, but you're not there, so listen to them. This episode of PS I Love You XOXO is brought to you by Freshly. Let's talk about it right now. Last year was chaotic. This year, let Freshly's chefs take care of your meals a few nights a week and take the pressure off of you. Need help getting your New Year's resolutions to get into shape and eat right on track? Then it's time to get Freshly. Their delicious meals are designed by nutritionists and cooked by chefs to make it easier to eat better. Dinner can be complicated, and 2021 should be anything but that. That's why Freshly is here. Their chef-made meals keep dinners delicious, simple, and better for you with nutritious ingredients in every dish. Getting everything you need to cook dinner is complicated right now. With Freshly, it's simple. Freshly offers chef-made, nutrient-packed, delicious meals delivered fresh to your door. No cooking required. Grocery shopping and cooking can be a pain, especially right now. And with Freshly, you don't have to deal with any of that. You don't have to leave your house. Your meals arrive cooked and fresh every week, and you can keep a fridge stocked and skip the trip to the store. Ordering is easy. Visit freshly.com and choose from over 30 delicious, satisfying, better-for-you meals like steak peppercorn, sausage-baked penne, or their chicken pesto bowl. Freshly can fit any lifestyle with a variety of plans and meals to pick from that work for you and your dietary needs. From what I understand, Kevin's been using this, and of course, Paula, a vegetarian. He's happy, he's enjoying the things, and he's ready to go. Ordering is easy. Visit freshly.com and you choose what you want. Right now, Freshly is offering our listeners 40% off their first 2 orders when you go to freshly.com/kinda. Make eating better your New Year's resolution and get a special limited time offer. Go to freshly.com/kinda for $40 off your first 2 orders. Try Freshly now, and for a limited time, get $40 off your first 2 orders. Go to freshly.com/kinda to learn more. This episode of PS I Love You XOXO is brought to you by Kinda Funny 2021, ladies and gentlemen. If you missed it, and I hope it all went well because I'm, of course, recording this before we actually do it, we did our big 6th anniversary celebration over on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames on Monday. Announced a whole bunch of different stuff. There's a whole bunch of stuff happening. Obviously, we got the thermometer as always, this big old thermometer, and it's going up and it's making new shows and doing new stuff. But I want to read off some of the notes we announced for Kinda Funny Games. Number 1, we are streaming video games each and every day on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. Right after Kinda Funny Games Daily, you can join our new hire, Snowbike Mike, as he brings in all different members of Kinda Funny and, of course, a bunch of different guests to play games with each other, solo stuff, full playthroughs, playing with the community. There's a bunch of different stuff happening. Twitch.tv/kindafunnygames each and every day right after Games Daily. Like I said, we hired Snowbike Mike for that. We also hired him to keep the XCast going. The XCast is continuing now as a full-blown Kinda Funny show. It's Snowbike Mike, it's Gary Whitta, and filling that 3rd chair is none other than Paris Lilly. That's right, Paris Lilly joins the part-timer cast here at Kinda Funny. We are super excited to have him. We also hired Kinda Funny best friend Roger Pokorny. You know him well. He's edits the Borderlands show. He's edited some of the social stuff you'd seen before. He did some oration for us. He's done a whole bunch of different stuff, and he is now a full-time hire as well to make smaller content of the Twitch videos we'll be doing each and every day. He'll be making stuff there. He'll be doing new stuff like the new Blessing show. There's all manner of really cool video game stuff happening with them. On top of that, we're supporting a different charity each and every month throughout the month here, I think we're doing the entire 2021. It might be the first 6 months, but I think that was just because that doesn't matter. We clarified that on Monday. That's the past. We're go find out about it. Patreon.com/kindafunnygames. And then we're on top of that, we're doing a thing where we're spotlighting a different games guest each and every week, trying to bring in different voices to come in here each and every week, at least on one of our game shows, to come in and talk about what's going on, to have their opinions, have them out there, to elevate people in the greater professional gaming community, bringing new voices for you, voices you don't get to hear on Kinda Funny. We're super excited about that. Of course, all of this happens because you're so amazing to us. If you like what we do, please, ladies and gentlemen, go to patreon.com/kindafunnygames. Support us there. Like I said, we're doing the fundraising thermometer like we always do with a whole bunch of different shows and a whole bunch of different goals on it. There's different ways to support it this year, though. Of course, every upgraded pledge or new pledge on patreon.com/kindafunnygames or patreon.com/kindafunny goes into that thermometer. However, this year we're also doing Twitch subs. If you sub to us on Twitch, since we're taking Twitch so seriously this year, that'll go into the thermometer. And then if you're like, I love you guys, but I have no money to give you, there is a free way, of course. You can go to twitch.tv/kindafunnygames, follow there, which is the free version, and then also click the notification bell. You do those, we count it as $1 and add it to the thermometer to make new shows and cool shit for you. That was a lot. It was a long ad. I'm sorry. Again, patreon.com/kindafunnygames. You don't have to listen to ads anymore. But thank you for your support. We're incredibly excited for a brand new year. I can't believe it's been 6 years of Kinda Funny. And here's the 6 more. Blessing, hit me with some PlayStation updates.
PlayStation updates. Before I even get into this, I just want to say we talked about Bloodborne for maybe an hour. I wasn't keeping track, and I still have so much to say. So I can't wait.
I want to get a spoiler cast out of you before it goes. So like, I can't have you out here, just blowing it, being done with it.
Very excited for it. PlayStation updates. I got a couple. I'm going to start with the PlayStation blog. They had their audience vote for their Game of the Year awards that they do yearly. And I wanted to go through some of the winners because I think this is a pretty fun list that they have. Of course, it's PlayStation blog, so it's PlayStation. And this is voted. This is voted on. This is voted on by let's see, over two. Well, they had 2.5 million votes across all their categories, and so PlayStation blog users went hard for this. Let's start with best narrative. Actually, before I even go into it, Greg, how many? What game do you think is like the top earner?
Last of Us.
Okay, you're correct.
It's been interesting to see this push and pull, and this is voted on by fans too, so it's like a little bit out there. But like, Ghost of Tsushima has been getting so much love from that audience of people who are shouting that out and making it, in Jeff's awards and everything else. But Last of Us is going to be far and away the winner, right?
Last of Us pretty much dominated so many of these categories. And so the way they do it is they give out different trophies for different awards. And so they have the platinum, gold, silver, and bronze. And so for best narrative, I'll start from bronze to make it fun. At bronze, we got Final Fantasy VII Remake. At silver, we got Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales. At gold, we have Ghost of Tsushima. And at platinum, we have The Last of Us Part 2. Congratulations, Last of Us Part 2 from the PlayStation blog. Best use of the DualSense. Greg, do you have any predictions for this one?
Astrobot, duh. It's got you know what I mean?
Astrobot definitely.
And then what? It's going to be Miles. Miles is in there for sure. It's like, how many PlayStation 5 games are there? And Jesus. All right, so Astrobot wins. And then Miles will be gold. And then
what did Miles do with the DualSense aside from like
it's vibrated? It just fucking vibrated. Yeah, this is web swing. Like, I feel like there's
vibration and then like a little bit of the haptic feedback with the webs.
Well, yeah, the web. Yeah, that's like the one thing. I feel
Demon Souls, truly... Sackboy, they've got to be in there, maybe.
I mean, what did Demon Souls do though? I don't.
What did any of them do? Say, I mean, Astro's the one that felt crazy. The rest of them were just like things that were happening.
Shooting games do quite a bit with the DualSense.
Oh, Fortnite did stuff with it. Is Fortnite in there?
Fortnite's not in here. No, but you pretty much nailed it with Astro's Playroom getting the platinum. Gold was Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. And then silver was Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, which I personally would have given the gold because Cold War they went hard with the triggers,
like different, like feeling guns and shit like that.
Yeah, they made like a lot of the guns just feel different from each other in the way that they shoot in the DualSense, which I thought was pretty cool. And then at bronze,
did that as well.
Yeah, Fortnite did that also. And then bronze, we got Demon Souls.
Told you.
Best accessibility features, another platinum for The Last of Us Part 2.
I was gonna say knock out of the park on home. There.
Yeah, it's not really a competition. And then gold being Ghost of Tsushima, silver Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, and then bronze Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
I would have put Valhalla higher here. Just because like I don't remember Ghost of Tsushima's.
I was gonna say I stretched to remember. I remember there being a colorblind mode.
I really don't remember any like what they did with Miles Morales when it comes to accessibilities. But like
I'm surprised. Like
only other
Watch Dogs
Legion,
Legion, I would have put in there too. Like Watch Dogs Legion, I've been playing a little bit of it.
Ubisoft like really kind of like went out with
Watch
Dogs Legion, even Immortals Phoenix Rising. They had some pretty good accessibility features, and then Valhalla was the main standout to me outside of The Last of Us Part 2, where like they really showcase it at the beginning when you're starting your save, and like you can run through all of these different settings and stuff. Like that was really
for sure. And also, like, to be clear, right, this is like this is the PlayStation blog fan voted, and so this is a very specific audience voting here. Best graphical showcase. What was that?
You trying to talk shit about the PlayStation blog audience?
I'm a part of that audience. I might have voted in this thing.
Okay.
Best graphical showcase, another platinum for The Last of Us Part 2.
Sure.
Gold, Ghost of Tsushima. Silver, Miles Morales. And bronze, Demon Souls, which is awesome. Even though, I guess that makes sense. I guess that lines up. I was about to say that I could see Miles Morales being gold with Ghost of Tsushima being silver because of the PS5 upgrades, but Ghost of Tsushima was just beautiful
as it was. I think that makes it stand out even more, the fact that that was such a work of art.
Yeah, speaking of which, best art direction, Ghost of Tsushima is taking away the platinum, with gold being The Last of Us Part 2, silver being Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, and bronze being Final Fantasy VII Remake. Best soundtrack. Any predictions?
Hold on. I sadly on that one I scrolled ahead too fast. So I saw Last of Us.
Mm-hmm. What do you think for the rest?
I mean, well, I feel like Miles is just cleaning up, so Miles has got to be there. Ghost has got to be there.
Any other? You got one more. I'll tell you right now, you're right so far.
You know where my heart would be? Sackboy. But did enough people play that to know that has a great soundtrack to actually vote for it?
Probably not.
Yeah, that's my thought.
A game that came out on PlayStation this year with a banging soundtrack. What could be left?
I mean, Fuser, but again, I don't think enough people played that. Like, this is what we're talking about. You're talking to a mainstream audience, right? Like, not that I'm insulting PlayStation blog people, but like, what is going to rise the top? I mean, Valhalla, maybe?
Greg, Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, you guys do like that.
If anything, that should have had the platinum.
Persona?
Oh, well, I mean, that's the same soundtrack, right?
No,
Persona 5
there's
had.
so
with
much
like a few more songs.
In that. Oh, okay.
I mean, so much more music. Add a few more songs. the combat music was great. But yeah, you're spot on. Platinum, Last of Us Part 2, with the gold being Ghost of Tsushima, silver being Miles Morales, and bronze being Final Fantasy VII Remake. And I wholeheartedly agree that the Little Big Planet, Sackboy, had a banging soundtrack that should have been there. Also, like Astro's Playroom, even though not as many songs as these other games, but that GP.
Honestly, I would put Final Fantasy VII Remake, even though like I have my hangups about that game. I would put that soundtrack above Miles
I put it
Morales.
number 1.
Yeah, for sure.
Like easily.
And again, I haven't played enough of Ghost of Tsushima to really.
Best sound design. Last of Us Part 2 got the platinum, with the gold being Ghost of Tsushima, silver being Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, and then bronze being Demon's Souls. And then we scroll through. We don't have to necessarily look at every single one of these. Got best multiplayer, which was Call of Duty Warzone. Shout out. Best sports. Shout out to Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, which got the platinum. Best new character. This is a fun one. Any predictions, Greg? Best new character.
I did the same thing again, where I see Miles. So Miles, which is who it should be, but I can go beyond that.
Well,
so
Miles isn't really a new character.
Yeah, that's my thing. Is like I guess he's a new playable character, but
well, no, he's playable. He was playable.
Yeah, I don't like this. I don't like that he's like. It's a weird one.
You
it's
get
a fine
you
line.
can feel it. It's like
I understand why,
new, but he's new.
Yeah.
Like it's the first time we're playing as him as Spider-Man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, so then that also, okay. Abby ran away with our awards, and we loved Abby, so Abby's there.
Any other guesses?
I'm trying to think of new characters. You know what I mean? Like where the
Ghost of Tsushima dude.
Jin Sakai, great call. Great call. And again, just playing the way this has worked out, Eivor from Assassin's Creed.
You nailed it. Yeah, no, Miles Morales got the platinum, with gold being Jin Sakai, silver being Abby, and then bronze being Eivor from Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Best independent game. We got Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout getting the platinum, with gold being Bugsnax, silver being Worms Rumble, which I think is fascinating, and I kind of want to try. I had that actually downloaded because it was a PS Plus game for December, I believe. And so I've been looking at it on my PlayStation dashboard.
I booted it up. About maybe playing it
because like as soon as I boot it up, and then the trophy list becomes available, then people look at that and they're like, "Oh, look at this!" And then bronze got bronze was Skater XL. Shout out to Skater XL, a game that I played a lot of.
Yeah. Did
you ever get that
platinum?
That platinum for Skater XL?
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Wasn't there some ridiculous trophy?
There was one where it's like essentially you have to skate, I think like the length of like going around the world or something like that. And it's just, it's a lot.
It's ridiculous. Gaming moment of the year. I think this is a fun one. Let me read them before I even say them out loud because I don't want to spoil anything. Okay, I'll just read.
So it's like a moment. It's a moment from the game.
Yeah, a moment from the game.
Okay, hold on.
I think they wrote it in a way that doesn't spoil things.
Yeah, and I like some of their picks. Last of Us Part 2. I'm just gonna say Last of Us Part 2 got platinum. I won't say what happened, but it got the platinum.
I mean, it says Final Showdown. You can say that. Like, people understand the game probably ends in a boss fight.
Man. Maybe somebody out there listening is like, I didn't want to know the game had a final showdown.
I didn't know that there was fighting in The Last of Us.
People gonna fight in this game?
Like a final showdown. The gold was Ghost of Tsushima horseback title sequence. I know what they're talking about. That's a good one. Silver, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, the bridge sequence, which we've all seen in the marketing stuff.
Yeah, that was one of their like debut things.
Yeah,
not debut things, but giant showcase things.
Yeah, and then bronze is a fun one. Astro's Playroom, experiencing haptic feedback and adaptive triggers for the first time.
Remember that? We started our Let's Play early and we couldn't show it, but you were having such a good time.
Yeah. Best PSVR experience. Any guesses? You've probably seen it, but
I haven't scrolled ahead of this one.
Okay. What you think got that platinum?
Oof. Okay, so I gotta start shouting things out as I think of them. Iron Man VR is gonna be on this list. How high? Who knows? Star Wars Rebels. No, Star Wars
Squadrons.
Star Wars Squadrons. It will be on this list.
Star Wars.
Star Wars, the hit game. I'm the Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners. And then shit.
One more.
Well, I know. I was like, what is a fourth big PlayStation VR game that came out this year?
If you think hard enough, you're definitely gonna get it.
Am I good so far? Have I? I mean, not the order of them. Not the order.
You're 3 for 3. Not the order, but you're 3 for 3 so far.
Fuck. No. Can you tell me, is it a full game or is it a mode to a game?
It's a mode.
Ooh.
It's one you for sure know. You're gonna kick yourself if you don't get it.
Yeah, I know. Blessing. Shit. Fuck.
No, I don't want to like help him.
Help me. Will you help me with the other one?
Did the Tetris multiplayer stuff come to other platforms, or is that
no?
still?
That's just Xbox.
Okay.
Okay.
Still Xbox. No, that's not a mode to a game.
Oh, wasn't there new? There was new. What's the red dudes and you're throwing shit at them?
Super Hot.
Yeah, wasn't there a new Super Hot?
But that Blessing wouldn't have counted that. I don't think he wouldn't have counted that one. I don't think. Shit. Fuck. Just tell me.
Also, it's PlayStation. Like I think PlayStation 2020.
Oh,
a PlayStation 2020 game that got a VR mode.
Yeah.
What is it?
Dreams.
Fuck. You're right.
Yeah.
I do kick myself for that. Fuck.
Yeah. But yeah, those are the four.
The
platinum is Star Wars Squadrons. With the gold being Marvel's Iron Man VR, silver being Dreams, and bronze being The Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners. You're almost there though.
I know. I'm fucked. I'm pissed off that I got Walking Dead and I couldn't think of Dreams. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Fuck. Let's round it out with a couple more. PS4 Game of the Year. I feel like this one is
Last of Us.
And obviously, yeah, Last of Us Part 2 got the platinum.
Then it's Ghost. Then it's Miles. Then it's Assassin's Creed.
Close. It's Ghost. Then it's Final Fantasy VII Remake. Then it's Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales. I keep wanting to say Marvel's Miles. PS5
Marvel's
Game of the Year.
Marvel.
PS5 Game of the Year.
Oh, that wasn't PS. Oh, yeah.
That was PS4.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So then it would be PS5 Game of the Year, Miles Morales.
Correct. That's number one.
Then gold would be Demon's Souls.
Correct.
And then silver would be. This
is where it gets difficult.
I know, right?
There are a lot of options.
Well, Astro is what I'm going to say, but are they playing? Is it back to what I was going to say? Remember when I said they wouldn't review it? Is it Astro or is it?
Astro's in there, but it is bronze, and so you're left with silver.
So my silver would be Assassin's Creed. Are they counting that since they
got it? Yep, Assassin's Creed.
Version? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is a Greg Miller ass list, aside from Demon's Souls, I guess. But yeah, Miles Morales number 1 platinum, and then Demon's Souls, Assassin's Creed, then Astro's Playroom.
Okay.
And then I guess we can. I like the couple that are left. So let's do these couple. Most anticipated game. I'll just read that one out. The platinum is the next God of War, with the gold being Horizon Forbidden West, and silver being Resident Evil Village, bronze being Final Fantasy VII 16, and then Studio of the Year. Any guesses, Greg Miller?
Studio. Naughty Dog.
Yep, correct. Naughty Dog number 1.
Sucker Punch.
Sucker Punch is in there.
Okay. Oh, he's not. They're not number 2.
Insomniac.
Not number 2.
Oh, Insomniac. Yeah.
Insomniac's number 1. Or no, Insomniac's gold, and then Sucker Punch is silver, and then there's one more.
Japan Studio.
No. That is a good guess.
Wait,
is it a PlayStation Studio?
It is not a PlayStation Studio.
Okay, so then it's just Ubisoft. Are they breaking it up by territory?
It's not Ubisoft. It is Square Enix.
Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy.
That was the toss-up because there was so much Final Fantasy in there, and then Assassin's Creed.
I like Studio of the Year. I'm trying to think of what I would give it. I guess I probably would give it Naughty Dog also.
Maybe not.
Who would you give it to, Barrett?
Insomniac, probably. Because it's not just about like there's just like a lot of shit going on with Naughty Dog this year where like I don't know.
Of course, the crunch stuff, totally.
Yeah. So like Insomniac always like it seems like there's always like good reports of like how they work with their teams and stuff like that. So I would probably personally give it to Insomniac.
This isn't a PlayStation studio, and they didn't even put out a PlayStation game this year.
Exactly. Get out of here with your super giant love. I knew that's that's what jumped in my mind too. Fucking Hades, an amazing fucking game, and they're like, we didn't crunch at all. We refuse to let people crunch. Like, all right, that's how
don't
you
let
do
people
it.
read it weekend. It's like, man, it must be nice. All right,
hey,
Greg?
fuck you, man. You get on the Slack to talk about Fortnite, all right?
I nenever read my email on the weekend.
When
anyway,
we play Fortnite again, though?
I mean, tomorrow on the stream that was going to be yesterday for people listening to the show.
Is that happening?
One more for PlayStation updates. We have our January PlayStation Plus games. They are Man Eater, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and Greedfall. So that's a pretty exciting month. Remember, next month, we're going to get that Young Destruction All-Stars, which I'm looking forward to. I keep forgetting about that.
God, I totally forgot about that. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
But that's enough about PlayStation updates. Let's talk about PlayStation picks. Of course, this is where we highlight a few of the cool looking games coming to PSN this week. We got no big hitters, but we do have one pick that I want to talk about. A game called Iris Fall, spelled IRIS. Fall.
To see me.
I don't know.
Google Elf. Iris.
Oh, okay.
There it is. Great. Lovely singing voice, Barrett.
This game is coming to PS4 on Thursday, January 7th. Solve clever puzzles and uncover an intriguing story full of mystery and wonder with light and shadow as a core concept. Iris Fall takes players on a monochrome adventure unlike any other. Iris Fall is a puzzle game featuring striking visuals and spellbinding theme of light and shadow. James Shepard at Indie Game Website gave it an 8 out of 10 and says, and when it came to PC, he gave it an 8 out of 10 and said, Iris Fall only takes a few hours to complete, and this feels just right. From start to finish, it's an engaging and well-polished experience that finishes on a high before the demands that was tricky puzzling take too much of a toll. While the easily frustrated may wish to steer clear, this is a stylish, brain-teasing trip worth taking. So if that sounds up your alley, give Iris Fall a try.
No thanks.
Yeah, it's not really for me either. It's for somebody though.
Interesting. I thought you watching the gameplay and watching the trailer looked like something that would be really up your alley. Blessing.
It looked cool. I think it looks cool, and I do like puzzle games, but I don't know what it was or what it is about this one that like isn't exciting me. Like it reminds me a little bit of like Inside mixed with a more 2D like cartoony puzzle game, which I could vibe with, but if it's not the quality of Inside or if it's not the quality of like other games I put in that category, then I don't know. It wouldn't necessarily do it for me. Also, I read more of the reviews, and like 8 was like on the high side. There were other reviews that are like 7 and 6. And so, yeah.
Would you rather play that or Miles Morales again?
Wow.
I mean,
that's a tough
game you hate, and then a game that just doesn't look interesting.
Yeah.
You know, it's a bad decision either way.
Blessing, it's time for what you've been playing, where we talk about what you've been playing, but we talked a ton about Bloodborne, as you already called out, and that's all you played.
I can talk more about Bloodborne if you want. Just
again, I need you to save it. Keep something in the tank for this month of Bloodborne coverage as we get going here, or whatever. So I'll take it then and just tell you that as I talked about at the top, I played Cyberpunk. Right, I fucking wanted to platinum Cyberpunk this break, and after 70 hours last night, I had to say, all right, I gotta walk away. I gotta stop.
Oh no,
because I had 2 different platinum breaking bugs.
Oh no,
2 different platinum, both in the same thing of Santa Domingo or whatever, that district of I have everything else in the game done except getting all the NCPD side hustles and all the gigs done in that area. And the first time I did it, like, so 70 hours total is where I'm at now, plus obviously more than that. But early on in the game, I did a NCPD side mission. If you don't play Cyberpunk or you're waiting for it, or you just don't ever want to play it, I understand. These are all the random objectives that pop up on the screen. And so the NPD thing or NCPD stuff are the, police scanner missions. They're all these little blue dots that pop up that usually are run in, kill all these guys, or run in, kill all these guys and get a piece of evidence, or destroy this, bigger ones like have a whole bunch of people you have to clear out and stuff like that. But it's simple stuff. It isn't story-based stuff. And so hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours ago for me, as I was playing this game, right, I had done one of them, and it was that I killed everybody, and there was a thing that looked like every other game where you have to pick up the evidence, and I ran over to it because that's where the marker was, but the evidence exclamation mark didn't pop.
Oh.
And I was like, that's weird. But then I read the thing. It wasn't about evidence. It was about kill everybody, but I had killed everybody there and there was no one left. And it was so early in the play of it and the platinum chase of it that I didn't think anything of it. And I hadn't done a lot of these in a way that I know what they should do and how they should play it. And so I was like, all right, weird. this guy will spawn another time, I guess, or whatever. And I ran off. And so jump ahead 30 hours or whatever, 35 hours or whatever it was. I'm clearing out everything. And again, I have every other trophy and it's just this last one. And I'm clearing the area and I like to do it just in order, like everything closest to me. And I just, switch back all the way down to what I'm doing. And I ran into this one and I turned into the area and everyone's dead there. And I was like, oh, fuck. Oh, and it's like that thing of like, this isn't like a memory seared in my brain of like, oh, something's wrong. And I'm, but it was like that thing of like, I vaguely remember when this happened. And I was like, oh, this is weird. It's got to be something else. Not thinking at the time, no, like stop, reloaded your save, run back in here. Because now that I've done it, I've had other missions bug out where I couldn't do something or whatever. And you reload the save and you come in and it does what it's supposed to do. The NPC who's going to give you the quest triggers or whatever's supposed to happen in the back end happens. And I ran into this fucking place and I'm just running around. I have this amazing shot. I'm a god at this point in the game, right? Like I have, more money, more power, more thing than there's anything to do with. So I have this fucking amazing shotgun that kills everything in one blast. I'm running around shotgunning the bodies that are still on the ground, just blowing limbs off of them, hoping to like just the game to be like, oh shit, everybody's dead. Fuck, give them the check mark. None of it happens. I leave and I go do other stuff. And I'm like, because it's that thing of like, I read online on the one Steam forum, somebody else said something very similar like this happened. But when they still popped their Steam achievement for it because it still had the thing, but the game registered that the job was done, that they were all done. I'm like, perfect, great, fantastic. And I do everything else and I just have that one and I'm fast forwarding time. I'm going through everything like that something else is going to spawn in the area and just nothing will fucking trigger. And so I just go back to this area and I'm like, I'm pinging everything, which again, if you don't play is like it sounds, you ping use your scanner to ping and then you can see enemies in the area. I don't see any enemies. I'm climbing as high as I can. I'm like breaking the game, trying to get to higher areas and lower areas, try to find it. I run around the entire block, just shooting any enemy I see, hoping that was like the one lone enemy that spawned off. And so finally I was like, fuck, I think this is the backbreaker. And so I looked through my saves, because now it was a needle in a haystack thing of like, I have a gajillion saves from Cyberpunk, I think a benefit of playing so many Bethesda games, I just make a million saves because, something's going to happen probably somewhere. And, but I had done this one. So this wasn't, when I did on my quest for the platinum, this is just something I had done back there. So I had to go 30 hours back. I found a save, which it sounds crazy. And I guess to an extent it is because I'd done all the side missions I needed except this one. And even though technically I'd done this one. So you go 30 hours back, meaning that whole island's progress reset. And I immediately run to that one and I do that mission. And there are way more enemies than I originally killed. And I kill them all and it goes off my map. And I'm like, fuck. I have to do this entire section of the city again, all of it. And so, I go to bed and then I wake up the next day and I do it. I go through and do all of it. And I'm working my way through all these things again. And last night I had it down to 5 or 7 maybe things left to do on that map. And I run again and I'm doing, keep in mind, I've done all of these before. So I know exactly how they should.
This is painful to listen to, by the way. This hurts me.
Well, we'll get to it in a second. Well, right here, like the thing about it wasn't. Because I really do love the gameplay loop of Cyberpunk. I really do love the hacking, do a breach protocol, upload my things. I'm playing as, the hacker with all my quick hacks and I'm doing all these cool things. And what I had found about being the God version of this when I was going through and doing it all is that suddenly it was like actually a waste of my time to do the breach protocol stuff. I had this amazing shotgun and I have so many hit points. Everything's low threat to me. So like, it was like, if I want to fuck around and do the old thing I used to do and hack and have all fun with it, great. It made more sense generally for me to run and just go and just blow everybody away, right? And clear the whole thing and deal with it, which wasn't bad, but was just brain dead. Whereas going back and doing it again 30 hours before, I had to actually be clever about it. And I had to actually upgrade my stats the way I wanted to rather than sitting on perk points to, get whatever stupid trophy I have. I have a whole different rant about the Cyberpunk trophy list that I'll get to another day. But for this one, I go off and it's the gig breaking news, which is a super short one where you talk to a guy in a parking lot in his car. He says, go in there and plant a tracker and don't get seen by cameras. And then you should get out and go get your reward and the mission's over. It should take all of 2 seconds. So when I saw that one and I was running through, I'm like, oh my God, I only have 5 of these left. This will be a short one. I'm going to platinum this game in the next 30 minutes. Get the mission from him, run in, come in my back way, open the window, drop down. As soon as I don't land on the van I need to do, I land on the ground, immediately electrified, dead. And I'm like, that's not normal. That's not how that's supposed to be. I'm like, all right, reload the save, come in there, drop down. I killed the one lady with a quick hack, plant the tracker, climb back out. The objective goes over for 1 second to, all right, exit the parking lot. And then the objective disappears, and it's just the gig breaking news in red. There's no objectives under it. So I leave the parking lot. The guy isn't where he should be. Nothing's happening. I run around. Nothing triggers. Nothing. I'm like, oh fuck. So quit out, reload this thing, still broken. Quit out, reload the thing, fuck. Go back now to a save from like 30, 45 minutes before. Run back to the objective. Do it there. I get it to change over to, all right, cool. I leave the parking lot. I've left the parking lot. It's fine. But then the exclamation mark wigs out for where it's supposed to be. Shit, fuck, reload, come in, do the same thing, get it, leave the parking lot. Everything's fine. It says, go collect your reward. I run over to where I'm supposed to collect my reward. And the question mark, which usually should be like more like eye level, is in the ground underneath a service station. And so I go to the service station, and it's just giving me the option to sell, not to collect. And I walk away from it. I'm like, that's fucking weird. And the guy who gave me the job calls me, and he starts talking about the job I had done the job before this. And be like, oh my God, nobody told me she had a sister. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, reload, do the same thing, same results, same everything. Google around online and find the CD Projekt Red fucking glitch forum or whatever. And this person is describing exactly what's happened to me, but like even with detail of like, yo, this is broken, and he's a quest behind everything I'm doing.
Yeah.
So when I finish quest B, he's talking about quest A. When I finish quest C, he's talking about quest B. So, and he's like, when you get to the end or whatever, which is the one I'm on, you can't collect the rewards. So you're just sitting there. And so I was like, motherfucker. And I looked again at I'm like, all right, well, I could go. I look at my saves. I'm like, all right, I have one from where I am now that is like an hour and a half behind that. So do I want to go back an hour and a half and then try to do these missions in a different order that I did for this guy in hopes that this does? And I was just like, you know what? No, I don't. Let's not do this again. Like I didn't hate this. I'm not destroyed by not having this. I would hope, since this is one of both of my things are well known on the internet of like, hey, this guy didn't spawn for me to kill, or there's not enough people. Hey, this thing is buried in the ground, whatever. It's just like, I'm going to close this and put it down and hope that it gets patched one day that I can come back and platinum this game. But for now, I will be sitting there forever with this Santo Domingo trophy hanging over my head or whatever.
Or that's heartbreaking.
Is this the jungle? Is this the first step in you letting go of platinums?
Dude, Dead Island didn't break me. Dead Island didn't break me back in the day. This one's not going to break me.
Well, what happened with Dead Island?
Dead Island, I think it was Dead Island 1, but maybe it was the second one. It doesn't really matter. I have all the trophies.
Did even ever come out?
Oh, no, well, Dead Island Riptide, not Dead Island 2.
Oh, gotcha.
Sorry, the next Dead Island. It was a very similar thing where I was working on all the trophies and everything was great. And I forget if it's literally the one trophy or if it was like I have 2 or 3 left and there was this one, but it was collect all the tape recorders or whatever. And I had it. I wanted it platinum before I was reviewing it. I wanted it platinum before it actually it came out or whatever. And I went through and I did it all, and I had 1 tape recorder left. And I could not for the life of me find this fucking tape recorder. And so I remember on like a Sunday, and review embargo was Monday and the game came out on Tuesday. I called GameStop downtown on Market Street. And I was just like, hey, by any chance, do you have the Dead Island or Dead Island Riptide guide early? And the guy's like, let me check. Yeah, we do. And I'm like, all right. So I climbed on the Muni, rode down from the Sunset where I was living way in the boonies, got there, bought the thing, came all the way back. And I'm looking through it at all, however many things there were. And I was like, damn, I really feel like I got all these, but whatever. So I just started going around the map, and I would just add a magic marker and I would just cross off every one of the tape recorders on the map and the thing. And I was like, here we go. Last one. This is where it's going to be. And I walked into where it was, compared the screenshot to what I had, and where it should be, it was not there because I had collected it. And so I had collected this thing, and the game just never credited me for having all X amount of them. And so it was just one. And I was like, huh. And that was one that fucking stung. Like the Cyberpunk again, it was like, I had a lot of fun doing all this stuff, and for all the problems and bugs and how unacceptable this is in general for Cyberpunk and the status of Cyberpunk. And we didn't even talk about it since this is our first PSILOVEPHOTOMODE since it got delisted. Like there's plenty to talk shit about Cyberpunk and everything else. But if the Dead Island one, because that was early on in the trophy hunting days, right? Where I was like, oh man, and like if that didn't break me, Barrett, this ain't gonna break me. And like I said, like now my first thing is to just go out and start grinding that Marvel's one I still need. I still got to get that Marvel Avengers one.
What's up with that? Is it just broken or is it just not populating?
No, it's just you have to do 50 fucking hives. Which
okay.
are a lot of hives. And I'm doing everybody's always like, oh, do the short one and like whatever it is. I'm like, no, I do that one. Me and Gold. It's just that on the day Goldfarb and Simon sat there for like 12 hours doing the same hive over and over and over again. I couldn't do it. So like I've been doing it like chip damage. And I have to imagine I'm in the 30s. You know what I mean? I don't fucking know. The game doesn't track, so it doesn't tell me how many I am. And it's like, this fucking sucks and I don't want to do it. I'm looking at my trophies to see which Dead Island I'm talking about. Dead Island Riptide, I'm 32 of 36. So that must have been it.
We know the PS5 version of that game is coming, right? They've said that.
Of Avengers,
yeah.
Yeah.
So is that going to have like this? That's going to have a separate trophy list, probably.
Arguably, the way it's happened before. Yeah. And then theoretically, you should. Yeah.
Do you think those would carry over?
I think so. Yeah. Because I think as the games as a service, it will have to ping and see what you've done.
So then do you, would it be worth waiting for the PS5 version to come out so that you would know? Because you'd imagine like the count would be there in the PS5 trophies because those usually take track.
Maybe because it's a third-party developer studio and stuff like that, so it's no guarantee.
I think it's that perfect thing of right now. The plan for Bloodborne starting right is going to do it tomorrow on the stream or whatever on our anniversary stream, and then so that's in the past for you, listener viewer. The future, I'm streaming with Mike on Wednesday of this week, and I'm going to stream more Bloodborne there. I feel like Avengers exists in that space of like, great, tonight when I'm done with all the stuff I need to do to get us ready for a kind of funny day, take a few of that. And again, it's not like there's a rush to it, right? Like I do hope, knock on wood, that as they keep putting out content and characters for Avengers, I'll be back to it. But it's just this thing of like, I just want that off my plate. I'm the guy who wants, once I can get it all done, to be done. So real quick here for the Dead Island Riptide trophy I'm stuck on. It is News Junkie, find all the volunteers' voice recordings. That's the one that stopped my thing. There is a one for find all the collectibles, which I assume is tied to the Junkie one as well. And then I'm also short this one, the Hurt Mine Locker, kill 10 monsters with 1 mine. But like I said, for me back in the day of that one, once that was done, I'm like, well, what's the fucking point? Like I'm not going to keep doing all this shit trying to get it.
Damn,
that's the life of a trophy hunter, bless.
So that's why I can't live it. That's why I gave up on it very early. I was like, no, I'm good.
Hey, you finally hit double digits though, Blessing. We're proud of you.
Double digits on
platinums.
Oh yeah, I did. Wait, what was my last platinum? Was it Astro's
Spider-Man? Spider-Man Remastered. Well, that was your 10th platinum.
Oh yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah,
Spider-Man. Yeah, it was. Yeah, 1 month ago. B Greater Marvels Spider-Man Remastered. There. Remember, you can keep up at psnprofiles.com/mercity64.
I think I said once on this podcast that like my goal is like 1 platinum a year, or like maybe 2. I think this year was 2, my goal. But usually I try to go for 1 platinum a year, and I call it a day.
Yeah.
Nathan Choquette wrote in to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames just like you can. It says, welcome back, Greg and Blessing. Over the past few years, I've tried to make some gaming related goals for myself to have fun with throughout the year. This year, I'm planning on working towards reaching 250 platinums. You can check my progress at Indie Ronin. Do you guys have any specific goals in mind, or would you be down for creating gaming challenges for each other to overcome in 2021?
Ooh, that's fun.
So you were saying you used to set the goal of getting a platinum or something, or getting to a certain number?
Like usually I try to get like 1 platinum a year, and that usually just happens naturally the way I play games. But like I kind of like that cadence because it means I can kind of go. It's kind of a way I can go back and be like, oh yeah, I really dug this game, this one game.
Oh totally,
during this year. But yeah, like in terms of gaming goals, I think one of my goals this year, personally, is going to try and be to play less, complete more, beat more games. Because I went through my GG profile.
GG.
Which you can find on, was it ggapp.com or something, ggapp.io, and I put together just like a private list for myself of like games I beat in 2020, and like there's a lot of games on there. Like I'm very happy with the games I played, or the games I completed in 2020, or real credits on. But then like I kind of zoomed out and looked at the vast amount of games I played, and like a lot of that is our segment for the PSN games ranked. A lot of those games like be played to like try out and like preview and stuff.
Yeah, of course.
And then also like a lot of multiplayer stuff that like I can't really roll credits on, and so I don't really count those. But there are a lot of games that I try out and then like bounce off of, or like I played a lot of games, didn't like see through as many games comparatively. And so like one of my goals is to complete more, play less.
I like that. I like that goal. Yeah, I think I would say yes, no. Like it's never such a hard and fast thing in terms of, for me personally, of what I want to do when when we're doing it. I think, you've seen me in recent memory do stuff with, I think, trophies, right? Where it was like, I think it was, I wanted to get 100 platinums that one year. Maybe yeah, that was right. Yeah, of course. And then like, making a big deal out of that, and then like doing the Division stream for it, and specific games that I'm working on. Like, so I mean, again, lamely, you could say like Marvel's Avengers, I want a platinum. I'd like to see Cyberpunk fixed. Otherwise, I'm sure at some point I will transgress and have like a Sunday where I have nothing to do and be like, well, what if I just do it in a different order? But my hope is that, yeah, they fix it. I think, but I mean, in that same breath, Nathan, for me personally, not even the joke here with Blessing, because he's not at all in my trophy class at all. He's not. You know what I mean?
We're both silver, and so I think technically I am in your class.
I'm close to getting that class too. I'm close to getting to silver.
Oh, my thing, one of my goals, and I don't even know how obtainable it would be to hit gold this year, which would mean getting my PSN rank up to 600.
But that would be like low gold, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it wouldn't be.
Yeah. It'd be low gold, but low gold is better than high silver.
I mean,
all of these are better than high bronze, Barrett. All right, you know what I mean?
Hey, I have 12 platinums or 11 platinums. I'm working on my 12th. So
now my challenge now is for Blessing to have more platinums than you by the end of the year. But that's just what I'm putting out there.
I got like I got like 4 or 5 this last year. I was really proud of myself.
I want to hit gold. I want to hit level 600 trophy.
Guys, I know what Greg is like trying to seed or sow a seed of me trying to go for the trophy hunt by pitting me against Barrett. And I'll tell you, it might work.
No, good. Okay, then you can't split. You can't tear apart the young crew of Kind of Funny. All right, Greg.
Young crew.
I see what you're doing. You're trying to get us to not rise up against you, but we'll do it.
Yeah. I mean, that's no doubt. I have no doubt there's a reckoning coming.
2022 goal.
So yeah, mine is to go from right now. PSN profiles dox me because I have that one fake platinum. So I'm 522 in platinums right now. I'd like to get to 600.
Wait. The docs to you because you have a fake platinum?
Yeah, that's right.
What does that even mean?
What does that mean?
Let me make sure I dime out the right.
You can't just say that like nothing happened.
So the story goes that a long time ago. Yeah, okay. So a long time ago, this is going to go multiple long times ago, but I noticed that I wasn't popping up on PSN profiles leaderboards. I think it was when I was doing it must not have been Patamon, something else. There was some other trophy I wanted to see how I rank in the world to get, and I wasn't on it at all. And I'm like, I'm looking at the dates people put in. I'm like, I definitely beat this before them. Like, why am I not on this? Actually, let me see if I can bring up the actual conversation I had with PSN profiles, because they follow me or whatever. I follow on SID. I'm like, hey, sorry to do this or whatever, but like I'm noticing that I don't have I'm not popping up on this leaderboard. Do you know why that is? Yeah, here it is. Yeah, here it is. And so
I know I find this so funny.
Oh, it was Patapon. So here's a dramatic reading, Greg. So Platinum Patapon today, I said hi, huge fan of the site, use it all the time, question. So Platinum Patapon today, been tracking my progress on the site over the weekend. Noticed I wasn't on the leaderboard. Figured it would catch up, however it hasn't. So I went to check the infamous Platinum, as I was the second person to ever get it after General Zod, which by the way is completely nonsense, and I don't accept that result. However, I noticed that I'm no longer on there at all. Did I get banned or something? Sorry for the nerdy ass question, just seeing what's up. Keep up the good work. PSN Profiles responds, hey Greg, glad you like the site. The reason you're not on the leaderboard is because you've been flagged in Fuel. I guess a save game popped trophies for you. If you hide that trophy list on your console, earn any trophy and your profile will update and you'll be back on the leaderboard. And so this is a conversation from August 1st, 2017. What that is referencing is the Great Trophy War from IGN of 2010, maybe. Yeah, no, God, it might have been the Brisbane office. So maybe 2009 we're talking about. It might have been 2009, but it may be 2010. It's somewhere in there where me, Collins, Scott Bromley, Jack DeVries did this thing of like, we're going to do it for a month. Who can earn the most trophies? Who can earn the most PlayStation trophies? Which was totally stupid because me and Colin already had all the easy ones, and they were like, so they could just go do Hannah Montana or whatever crap trophy they wanted to, and we had to work harder. Anyways, there was a thing where if you could download a Fuel save, put that to your PlayStation 3, then turn on Fuel. And as soon as Fuel booted up, it was the first time I ever booted up Fuel. It was just like, oh, bing, 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 bing. And so in the trophy hunting world, that is looked down upon by, these hoity-toity PSN profile people. And so if you do that and you don't hide it, then you're shadow banned and you can't do it.
Gotcha. So do you just refuse to hide it?
Oh, no. So I've hidden it. So what it means is that, like, if you were to go to my PlayStation profile on your PS4 or 5, whatever, and look at my trophies there, I have a different count than what I have on PSN profiles. Because PSN profiles goes in and goes, oh, don't count Fuel because it's hidden. Fuel's hidden.
Yeah.
Whereas PlayStation still includes it all together, even though it's hidden.
Gotcha.
This is how fucking nerdy I am about trophies, ladies and gentlemen. All right.
That's fucked up.
It's
seek
a fucked
help.
up world.
Please,
right?
seek help.
Blessing, we have a new segment of the last couple shows, even though now it's been months or whatever, called #PSILOVEPHOTOMODE. This is where we give you, the PS I Love You XOXO audience, a challenge to take photo mode somewhere. Then we go through and pick a runner-up, another runner-up, and a winner. Blessing, you said last time around you wanted to see holiday-themed photos. What'd you get?
So yeah, I got quite a few here. I got 2 runner-ups, of course, and then one winner. I'm going to start off with runner-up number 1, which is at Hide Indoors on Twitter. Catherine, they sent through this image of Ghost of Tsushima, Jin Sakai in the armor, standing on top of a hill with like mountains in the distance, snow all over. Very cool screenshot. Very beautiful. Very awesome. Very beautiful. Runner-up number 2. I like this one also. This comes from at Connor MF Knowles. Connor motherfucking Knowles on Twitter. It's a Kingdom Hearts 3 screenshot. Seems like a Christmassy sort of world. I don't know too much about Kingdom Hearts. I don't know what Disney Channel IP has like a Christmas world in it. But there you go. It's Mickey standing in front of a gift with Goofy and Sora on both sides.
Maybe Frozen because they're in like an ice world. Maybe.
Bear, I think you missed what I said earlier. Disney Channel and Kingdom Hearts 3 specifically is Disney Channel properties that they travel.
Even Stevens had a
even Stevens, Proud Family, stuff like that.
What game did I play? Because I'm pretty sure like Toy Story and like Big Hero 6 was in there.
No, you played Dream Drop
Disney
Distance.
Infinity. You played Disney Infinity.
Fuck, man. I got really close to beating that game, and then I got to Big Hero 6, and I just dropped the.
Did you get to that game's Christmas level?
The Frozen level, yeah.
Yeah. Oh wait, is this Frozen? Jokes aside, this is Frozen.
I think so.
Okay.
I can't be 100% sure. I have not touched it since it came out.
Well, anyway, I like this photo. I think it looks cool. I'm always down to see Goofy trying to look badass, and Mickey also. So shout out to that. And then lastly, I have your winner. This comes from Matt Yu at Matt_736 on Twitter. It's a hot Miles Morales shot.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that there was a winter costume that you could have for Miles Morales. He has that equipped.
You're saying maybe we shouldn't listen to your review? Like you don't really know what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that was required to beat the game. I don't think I had to like equip it.
I mean, if you wanted to experience the game, though, no.
Yeah, you didn't play the game correctly.
I
just want to be clear that was a joke and don't take that seriously.
But is it
we love you.
How dare you? How dare you lie through your teeth? But yeah, no, it's Miles Morales swinging through New York. It's snowy in the background. Very holiday-ish. Got the holiday colors too. You gotta love it. Shout out to Matt Yu on Twitter.
What I love about this one is when I first saw you put it up, I was like, oh, did I miss that there was like a Christmas light, like a web swing you could have? And it's like, oh no, they took the photo and then did the thing with the amazing photo mode where you can move the light source and change the color. So it's this green that makes it look even more holiday. Love it. Very awesome. Very good colors. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, you should enter. It's very simple. I'm going to give you a challenge right now. Next week's PS #PSILOVEPHOTOMODE is going to be Bloodborne. As you start your challenge of Bloodborne here, start taking some cool photos there with your create button. And then you just tweet them. Tweet them with the hashtag #PSILOVEPHOTOMODE. We look at them. We put them here on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, that's your first PS I Love You XOXO of 2021. But the show doesn't stop there. You can head over to patreon.com/kindafunnygames, where we're about to talk a little bit about God of War Ragnarok and if this thing is coming out this year. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is PS I Love You XOXO. Each and every week, Blessing and I get together to nerd out about all things PlayStation. If you like that, head over to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames to be part of the show, to send in your stuff, to get your PSN profile read, to be on the post show, to see all that stuff. Usually see it live. We'll be back next week live and all that jazz. Of course, if you have no bucks to toss our way, no smackers to smack us with, you can watch it on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. Podcast services each and every Tuesday morning. Of course, it has ads. Of course, it doesn't have the post show, but that's how it goes. Remember, Kind of Funny 2021 is in full swing right now. You can catch up on all the announcements. We had all the new hires over at twitter.com/kindoffunnyvids. Of course, you can go to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames to learn about it there too. Check it out, twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. Now streaming video games each and every day after Kind of Funny Games Daily. For now, we got a post show to do. So until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.